As we'll be following your track and your video and streaming as well. Right now, we're going to bring in our severe weather specialist, Dr. Greg Postel and Reynolds Wolf. And guys, sometimes in the morning we get a break. Not today.
No, looks like busy times. You know, as we've been saying, this weekend was just part of a multi-day severe weather outbreak affecting millions of Americans. And right now we're here with storm specialist Dr. Greg Postel, and as Jen said, it's already popping.
Yeah, it is. In southern Kansas, we do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that I want to get to, Reynolds. And these are, I think, part of a sort of somewhat separate event that we'll see later on today in southern Oklahoma. But anyway, what we've got here, this is Wichita, Kansas, right here. So this is about 75 miles to the east. A cluster of storms has developed over the last couple of hours. We do have some warnings with those. This first one is for Greenwood County until 8:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The primary one has ping pong ball size hail with that one. And we can also move this over a little bit and get the other warning here. This one is for, let's see what counties that is, for Wilson and Woodson counties until 8:30 p.m. Central Time. I also want to point out this one has a characteristic shape to it. It's got that backward C shape right in here, so there may be some very strong winds moving eastward along Highway 54 there, so keep that in mind as this cluster of storms continues to move eastward. I think over the next couple of hours the tendency will be for those to weaken, and then we'll see redevelopment later on today across Oklahoma. And one of those triggers across Oklahoma will be a little bit of a circulation that's hard to see in here, but it's there. I've looked at the other data and it's there, and it's going to help lift the atmosphere out ahead of it in this region as it continues to move off to the east, and it will do so during the afternoon hours. And underneath that upper level disturbance, we've got, as you mentioned, Reynolds, air coming together from like all different directions.
I mean, just a major convergence zone there. Everything, all the elements just slamming together.
That's right. We have that warm and humid air coming northward out of the Gulf. We have the hot, dry air behind what's called a dry line right here, which separates the warm and humid air from the hot, dry air. And then we've got some cool air coming in from the north, slightly cooler air. And as you said, a massive convergence zone. The air is just coming together all across this region. That is going to help to trigger storms later on today. And it may actually be playing a role in developing the storms up here in Kansas right now. So it's going to be active later on today. And here's what our future radar says by 5 o'clock. You know, storms popping up all across Oklahoma, probably down into northern Texas as well. And this continues on through the late evening hours. Now, don't get, focused on exactly the tiny little details of this radar forecast. But the general idea is that there will be storms here, severe storms likely, possibly tornadoes, and then probably evolving into a damaging wind event as it moves across Arkansas and southern Missouri overnight tonight. And those can be as damaging as some tornadoes too, so keep that in mind.
Indeed. Okay, let's send it back over to Jen.
All right, guys, thank you. We're going to have more coverage of those deadly storms coming up. We'll take you back to Bethel Park. This is the scene of the massive damage left behind after a pair of tornadoes tore through Oklahoma.